Welcome to C programming tutorial. Um, this tutorial is actually the continuation of the previous tutorial. It's a part 2 of the previous tutorial where I'm trying to explain the if statements. Even we are trying to write a program that would basically input a number from the user, and then based on that number, if it is positive, which means that if it is greater than 0, it will say your number is positive. If it is equal to 0, it will say your number is 0, and if it is less than 0, in other words, if it is negative, it will say your number is negative. And so far we have got to the point where basically we have said that, okay, if the number is greater than 0, printf this message, your number is positive. Notice that how and this is how if statement works. If you write the if and then followed by the condition and then followed by the statement, and if the condition evaluates to be true, the statement is executed. If the condition evaluates to be false, the statement is skipped. Now, before I continue with this program, look at this. There is something called indentation in a program, and it is very important, even though it is just purely cosmetic. It's for human beings, not for computers. Now look how if and all these things are very nicely aligned. This is how you should do it. You should align all these lines together, okay? All the initial lines, all the start of the statements, new statement should be aligned right here. But this whole thing is considered to be one single statement. The statement that comes after the condition, which is actually the part of the if statement, it should not be written like this. It should be indented to show that it is actually part of the if statement. Okay, this indentation, even if you will write it here, the compiler is not going to give you any error. It will just compile fine, it will run fine. So it has nothing to do with computer. It has nothing to do with compilers. It has to do with you and me as programmers, as software engineers. What we have to do, we have to indent them, so because it looks good, it makes it easy for us to read. It tells us, just by looking at it, I can tell that this printf is actually the part of if. Why? Because it is not aligned with if. It is one level above if, indented. Anyway, so continue with our program. Next thing we have to do is to basically write the second condition. If number is equal to 0. Now, a lot of time people make this mistake. You will write only one equal to. Trust me, you will do that. And this is bad. This is bad. What does it do? What it does is it says that assign the value of 0 to number. And what it means is that it will basically, whatever the user has entered, if the user has entered 10, it will basically change its value to 0. Because this equal to is the assignment operator. When it's single equal to sign, it's an assignment operator. In other words, it basically assigns, it basically assigns the value to that variable. But if you write 2 equal to, that's the comparison operator that compares the value of number to 0, whether the number is 0 or not, and it will be true if it is equal to 0. And if it is so, then what we have to do, we have to print this message, your number is 0. Okay, if it is not 0, if the value of number is not 0, this statement will be skipped, so this message will never be printed. Similarly, this message will not be printed if the user entered a negative number. And what do we have to do? The last case, if number is negative. And how do you say if the number is negative? If it is less than 0. If the number is less than 0, what do you have to do? We have to write this message, number is negative. And as we said before, the \n basically brings your cursor to the next line on the screen when the program will be executing. So here it is. So this is our program based on our requirements. The requirement was to input a number. We are inputting a number. If the number is positive, which means that if the number is greater than 0, you print this message, your number is positive. If the number is equal to 0, you print this message, your number is 0. If the number is less than 0, you print this message, number is negative. For any given number that the user enters, notice that only one of these conditions will be true. The other conditions are not going to be true. so it will only display one message. The other messages will be skipped because their conditions will be false. So let's try to run the program. And how do you run the program? What I do normally is to press F9, but you could come here and click on compile and run. So here it is. Okay, I wonder why it's not displaying on top of it. Okay, never mind, we will skip this guy. So it's asking to enter the number. Okay, so we will enter a number. What number should we enter? Let's start with 0. So we start with 0. It says your number is 0. Great. Why does it say your number is 0? Because we entered 0 here, the computer came here, the value of number became 0, the computer came here. Is 0 greater than 0? No, 0 is equal to 0. 0 is not greater than 0, so it skips this thing. Why? Because this condition is false. Then it comes here, evaluates this condition. Is 0 is equal to 0? Yes, 0 is equal to 0, so it executes this statement, which is basically, because the condition was true, so it executes this statement which says print this message on the screen. What message? Your number is 0. Then it comes here. It doesn't stop here. It comes here because it's going to execute each and every statement here. It comes here. If number is less than 0, so it says 0 is less than 0. No, it's false. So this condition is false, so it skips this statement. So it doesn't print this message. So only message that we see is basically this message. Your number is 0. So let's try it one more time and see what it says. Let's enter. This thing is a little bit acting up on me. Enter a number. So what number are we going to enter? Let's see. We are going to enter some positive number this time. 5. See, it says your number is positive. Da-da! So our program is working great. So let's run that program one more time. And this time we are going to enter. This time we are going to enter a negative number, minus 10 or 109. We'll write minus 109. So it should say your number is negative. So you see how in our program, we basically, a small piece of program, we basically using if statement, we made it to decide based on the value of number, which message to display on the screen. So this tutorial basically simply shows the use of the if statement. In the next tutorial, we will see. Now there is another thing about if statement. Let's see if I can finish it in time. If you have multiple statements that you want to execute, if this condition is true, what if this condition is true, you want to execute more than just one statement? So if you write, if you want to say, suppose, I don't know, maybe like something like x is equal to 3. You want x to be equal to 3 if this is the case. If the user enters a negative number, you want x to be equal to 3. So here, if the user says x number, you say if number is less than 0, printf this message and then also make x equal to 3. What's going to happen? See, the compiler does not know about indentation. So either you write it here or you write it here, it doesn't matter. What it's going to do is it's going to skip only one statement, but it will execute this next statement. So to group these two statements together, what you can do is to use braces. And then within those braces, you could basically write as many statements as you want, and they will all be either executed if the condition is true, or they will all be skipped if the condition is false. Anyway, our time is up. Please continue to watch the videos. Thank you.